This is the Broadband edition with me, Digvijay Singh, and I'm delighted to be joined from Italy by Alpha Tauri driver Pierre Gasly. Pierre, many thanks for your time because, I must confess, we've interviewed a lot of people on this series, but this is the first time we've got a current Formula One driver joining us. I must start by asking you, does it feel quite strange to be preparing for a season opener in July?
Yeah, I'm good. I must say it feels quite strange. I think we had to go through a very unusual time for all of us, like not only Formula One, but I think the entire society. And I must say it was weird. Usually we got ready to start the season in middle of March in Australia. And then after that, it just kept being delayed, and finally, for the pleasure of everybody, I think we are finally starting this weekend in Spielberg. So, I think really happy with the start of the season. I think the Formula One organization managed to do a fantastic job to give us the opportunity to finally go racing.
Yes, and is the competitor in you rather relieved that you are having a season after all? Because just go back a few months and even this truncated season at a certain point didn't seem possible.
I must say, I always believed we will start the season at some point. But the main thing was the starting point. I didn't know if it was going to be in June, in July, in September, or even later. And I think, we started the first races without any spectators, with very strict restrictions on our traveling, on our in between the races. We got to stay at the hotel. We can't travel. We can't meet other people. We are limited in certain groups, even inside our own team. So very strict due to the situation and what's happening. But no, I think we are pretty lucky. I think many other sports are still struggling to launch this season or to finish it. In our case, I think we should be pretty much we should be able to do a complete season, hopefully with 15 or 18 races.
But the thing is, Pierre, you spoke about this bio bubble being created. Lots of safety measures have been put in place. But what we are seeing, Pierre, is that with this virus, there's not one person who can step back and say, I will not get it. So everyone, be it the drivers, be it the mechanics, the stewards, everyone at that race course is at risk. That risk happened. We saw what happened in Melbourne, and that risk exists even today. Do you think that ultimately going back out for your fans and racing is still a risk all of you all are taking?
Yeah, of course. I believe the risk zero doesn't exist. And I think we just need to do everything we can to make it as safe as possible for all of us. And we are all responsible, as you said, it's not only the drivers, it's the mechanics, it's people working in hospitalities, people working at the track, the marshals, everyone. So I think it's our responsibility to be really strict with ourselves, to keep it as safe as possible for everyone. And I know F1 organization, I've just passed my COVID test 2 days ago, for example. I have another one before to get in the paddock. I will have another one the following day. So there will be a really close, how to say that, a really close following on our status. And then, as I said, I'm going to be only in contact with few people, my race engineer, my second engineer, my main mechanic, but even within the team, I won't be able to see all of them. So yeah, we'll try to keep it as safe as possible, but I hope everything is going to be fine. But the risk zero doesn't exist, unfortunately.
Yes, I agree. And ultimately, it's all going to boil down to two things Formula One teams and drivers and everyone associated with the sport are very well known for. One is self-discipline and the other is trust. Because ultimately, as you said, each team needs a lot of people around for it to function, and nobody can step out of that bio bubble. One person steps out of the bubble, the entire team is at risk. And that's something you're confident that Formula One will get right. That there is that trust within your team, that the Alpha Tauri team, that we will go out there and face this together as a team.
We have to, as I said, we all need to be responsible. They have been really clear and strict in terms of regulation and what we are allowed to do, what we are not allowed to do. to make it happen, because otherwise we just got to wait that the situation gets better before to restart the season, and I don't think anyone wants it. So the only way to start now is just to be really strict with all these restrictions, safety restrictions. And no, I think everybody is aware, it's a serious problem that is happening worldwide as well, and I think everybody is responsible. And as I say, I hope everything's gonna go well. But I think the main thing we can do is just focus on ourselves and make sure that we do our job properly, and just trust the people around us are gonna do the same.
If I could just probe a bit more, one of the other things that we're going to see is a lot of very different Formula One to what we've known. I mean, the paddock is going to be almost empty, no outsiders involved. Even post-race, there's going to be no podium sort of ceremony. It's going to happen on the track. And that's something which will take some getting used to, but that's the new normal, isn't it?
I still didn't see it, so as it's going to be the first race. But I believe it's gonna feel different. That all the spectators you get on the track, we get usually between 200,000 and 300,000 people every race weekend, and it brings such an atmosphere, like such an energy coming to the track, doing the parade before the race. It really gives goosebumps, So I think this is gonna be missing a lot, and hopefully we're gonna be able to see the fans back on track pretty soon. But at the moment, I don't think anyone's got the answer when this is going to be possible. So I guess we just got to start like this and try to do the best we can with the current conditions.
I was actually scrolling through your Twitter feed to see what you've been up to, and what really caught my attention was when you actually got into a car and drove it in Imola. What was that feeling like to rev that engine up and finally get that feel of that car going once again through your veins?
Oh yeah, it was the best feeling I had since a while, So it was great. In the end, the last time I was in the car before that was in Barcelona, end of February. I had a 4 months break without any driving. Of course, I trained myself in the simulator. I did a bit of karting as well, but it's different than Formula One. Formula One is really unique. So, no, I must say this was amazing. We had a couple of laps in Imola, which is also a fantastic track, especially with a Formula One car. And everything went smoothly. Going out of the pit lane, you can clearly feel the 1,000 horsepower or even more. So it's not something you get every day. The feeling came back very quickly, and I'm just really excited for this weekend and the coming races.
I can see that delight on your face, but you also used this lockdown to pretty good effect, because when this lockdown actually happened, you got stationed in Dubai, and you used it for your personal growth as well. Your trainer was there, you spent 2 months there, going through your fitness and building up your fitness. How do you think that's going to help you once this season begins?
Well, we really try to focus on the physical side, because rather than just treating this time as a proper lockdown without really doing anything, we saw it as an opportunity to actually work on myself and try to improve myself physically as an athlete. So I was already ready before Melbourne. I felt like physically in great shape, but we just saw this as a great opportunity with that much time in front of us to just work on every area we could. And now I can feel it. I'm probably clearly in the best shape of my life so far. I'm feeling great and ready for the coming season. Plus, it's going to be very intense. We never had that many races in such a short time, so we could see that coming, and that's why I wanted to really make sure I'm on top of that and physically ready to face this challenging season that we're gonna have.
Pierre, it's been 7 months, but in terms of actual racing, it's just been one race or 2 races since you achieved your career best performance at the Brazilian Grand Prix. It's the dream of every driver in motorsport to get on the podium, but now for you, sort of carrying that momentum into this new season, and you want to build on that. The quest is to go on there and get on the top spot on the podium and challenge for the championships.
Oh, obviously, that's the end target for myself. I mean, Formula One is to fight for championships and victories, and that's what I want. I must say I'm in a stage of my career with Tauri, which is a midfield team where we are fighting for points, but obviously the kind of performance we had in Brazil was incredible with that second place. But it's not something, unfortunately, we can fight for every weekend due to the performance and the differences between the cars. So obviously, we want this kind of races every weekend, and we try our best all the time. But I think for us, mainly will be to keep that momentum. We're very strong all the last few races of the year, and hopefully this year the car is going to be as competitive, and we're going to be able to fight for points again. So I think it's still a bit early to have any expectations because we had only the test in Barcelona. But I really hope the car is competitive enough to reproduce this kind of performance.
I'll stay within the realms of Formula One, but just expand this conversation, because while this coronavirus pandemic swept the world, the last few days, weeks, we've seen another movement sweep the world, which is the Black Lives Movement. Formula One has come out and said that it is going to do its bit to sort of encourage diversity. As drivers, do you think that they've finally come out there and taken the right step?
I think they are taking the right step, and I think it's a great thing they are doing, and they are also involving the sports in going into that direction. Obviously, all the things doesn't happen in one day, and we need to give time to them to really work on it and make a pass equal for everybody. But I think it's good they took these actions and they have a plan in place for the future.
Lewis Hamilton, in fact, has been someone who's been very outspoken on this, and he's in fact taken the lead. How important is it, in your opinion, to have leaders in sport go out and address issues? Because what that does is it gets a lot of more people talking about those pressing issues.
I think Lewis is a real leader in many different aspects. But obviously in our sport, in Formula One, he is the main one, and he's also talking probably about something he lives, and growing up, I think he faced these kind of challenges. And I don't want to speak for him, but I think he should be the one saying it. But he is talking about personal challenges he faced, and I think it's great that he's standing for these values, we need guys like him in our sport, especially with such an exposure and globally and worldwide known. I think his voice for sure is really powerful, and that's great.
Lando Norris has said also that drivers are discussing that together they should take a knee, and why this could be massive for the message you all are sending out is Formula One is a multicultural sport. Look at all the countries you go out to. Look at all the countries from Australia to China to Malaysia, Singapore, right down to Brazil. Almost all corners of the world is where your sport goes around the world. So this will be a massive statement if everyone agrees to take a knee together. At the moment, I think we are thinking about a gesture everybody will do together. So it's still in discussion, but I think it's mainly to share our values and share our support with this cause. That the sport in general and all drivers are responsible also to share this message all together. So I think we are having talks, the plan is clearly to do something all together, just to support this cause that is really important. Just talking about the season coming up, Mercedes obviously going in as favourites, but let's not forget it's starting on home turf for Red Bull and for you as well. Do you think that with this shortened season, Mercedes' dominance could come under threat now?
Yeah, I never like to talk before we actually race, and I think Mercedes has been so strong and really impressive over the last few years. And even though this happened and these periods may change slightly the order, I still think they're going to be on top, and I think Lewis is probably going to go for a 7th World Championship, or sure he's going to have a good chance at it. So I think it should be an interesting season, very intense. There will be short time for the teams and for the drivers as well to recover and to prepare for all the races. So I think it's going to be very interesting. After to already say who is going to lead, who is going to win, I think we need a couple of races to have a better look at the overall competitiveness of everyone.
Obviously, and it's as you rightly pointed out, it's difficult to predict, especially when we waited so long. But the interesting point here is that we've got the start of the season. We don't know what's going to come in the second part. There's still a lot of unpredictability. And you think that that's going to be beautiful for the sport, to attract more viewers, to attract more fans, because there's going to be so much drama that is going to unfold over the next 6 months once we have racing almost every other week.
If we manage to restart, especially in Formula One and not all the sports, people are looking for entertainments at the moment. Even myself, I must say, I'm a big fan of football. I love basketball. I love competition in general, and I've been missing this adrenaline even in front of my TV and just watching something live. So I think if we manage to bring this to the people, for sure there will be a lot of attention, and hopefully we're going to be able to put a good show. So there are still, as you said, a lot of unknown. The situation is still evolving. In some places it's getting better, some others is getting worse. So I think we should still keep a close eye on the overall situation. At the moment, we have 8 races confirmed. I really hope we can put even more races and add maybe up to 15 or 18 races before the end of the year. I think that will be amazing. And as I say, if we can put a good show for the people, I think everybody will be happy.
And adding to the unpredictability, Pierre, is the fact that when this lockdown sort of happened, you had the decision of Sebastian Vettel to move on from Ferrari. That sort of kicked off a merry-go-round in the sport as well. There's now talk that Fernando Alonso could come back for next season. This is a lot of drivers right now will also be racing for their futures as well. So that promises more excitement.
I think it's going to be a great season. As you said, there are a lot of changes for 2021. Couple of empty seats and a lot of great names. Fernando is a legendary driver. Seb as well. I don't think anyone knows what he's going to do. So there are still a lot of things to plan for next year. But I think before that, we should focus on the coming races, and this will be the most important for everybody. It's an exciting time for Formula One right now. Yeah.
And what makes it exciting is the rise of younger drivers like you. Carlos Sainz, who was with you at the Red Bull junior program, he's moving on to Ferrari. You had Charles Leclerc already there. Your former teammate Max Verstappen as well. Daniel Ricciardo. All these youngsters are there. Hamilton and Sebastian Vettel, sort of the senior statesmen in the sport. But over the years, last 2 years, we've seen that gap closing. Do you think Formula One is ready now for a generational shift, that the young girls can't be kept behind anymore?
I think slowly we are seeing more and more young drivers coming on the grid and also taking these big seats. So there might be a change, like Seb is 4-time world champion, Lewis 6-time world champion. So it's not like you move these kind of drivers really easily, and they should have a career as long as Kimi, for example. And I think we are all pushing, and we're seeing more new faces on the grids. Which is great. And in my case, most of the young guys on the grid, I've raced with them in karting as well, and it's pretty cool to find them now in Formula One and to race all together.
Okay, you've raced in fact with Max Verstappen as well, and he's sort of got at least 5 years now in the sport. Is that what is you think that a lot of people talk of him as this next one-time future world champion? You think that now that he's got the experience, that is the most beautiful thing. He sort of knows the rough and tough world of Formula One, and this is time for us to see the emergence of him.
Well, I believe this is a sport where experience makes a pretty big difference. We can't really test much, we can't really practice much, except we just have the races basically. So I think now with a bit more experience, for sure he's gonna have a good chance to fight for the world championship. He's got everything for it. So he's fast, he's got the car as well, he's got the team behind him and everything he needs. So I think he should get a good chance go for it.
Okay, as you rightly pointed out, Pierre, experience is crucial in Formula One, but you've sort of got a lot of experience also now under your belt, 2 full seasons. So hopefully you kick on from that lovely performance in Brazil. As I said a short while back, this is also a sort of a familiar racetrack for your team as well. So wishing you the very best for the season. Hopefully this turns out to be that breakout season that you've always desired. And hopefully we get a full season of racing so that fans like me who are still at home, still under lockdown, we sort of get to enjoy that sound of those engines, booming all across our houses from the TV starting from this weekend.
I really hope so as well.